Well, and sometimes as a worker, you have to do that. And like I said, I'll give you a little bit of a personal history with, one of from my wrestling time. I was a manager before I was actually in ring, and we were doing a gimmick. It was Fast Eddie, the pizza delivery guy, which was funny because it was my friend, and at the time he was delivering pizzas, and then I was his manager. And we're in a match, and we were the heels, and we're wrestling Irish Pat McGuire, and we had this thing set up where they had this country music. She was like a local disc jockey. She came out, she was like a guest ring announcer, and I came out and I cut a little promo on her and got some heat with the crowd and introduced my guys. So we got in there and we're doing the match. We had about 10 minutes of match. So we get out there, and the match was kind of the shits, man. It was not a great match. There was some fun moments in the match. There was some great heel work. I swept the legs when he came off the ropes. He came out to the outside. I choked him with my jacket. There was some great heel stuff, but the wrestling match itself was not great, and both guys knew it. But there was one part where we were on like rest hold number 5. And the crowd just died, man. I'm looking around, and Pat McGuire's got Eddie, I think, in like a reverse chin lock or something like that. And I'm listening around, I'm like, this crowd is dead. So I'm like, now mind you, we're the heels, and I'm like, okay, what can I do that'll get some heat and wake these guys back up? So I start, Eddie, 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 and they just raised the roof off the place and booed us right out of the building and got the crowd hot back into it again. But it was a moment where I'm thinking, this could go one of two ways. They could either start cheering him, which is not what I want because we're the heels. And if they start cheering him, my booker, who was the guy that was training me, Cliff, was going to kick my ass. When I got back to the back, Irish Pat McGuire was going to kick my ass. And, it was just going to be one of those things. But it's, again, like you said with Xavier Woods, sometimes you just have to take that chance on yourself. And that goes back to my point. If you've never been out there, it's hard to know what's gonna get a crowd hot.
I've never been out there like that myself, obviously, but I think you just if you don't like what they're giving you, then you either take it and do what they tell you,
yeah,
or you try to make something out of it, and
yeah.
And look, for some people it's just, and I guess another thing is, WWE is not for all of these, it is not the place for all these people to go.
Right.
So if you have a specific vision of yourself as a professional wrestler, how you want to talk, how you want to work the ring, etc., then you need to go somewhere where the bookers have that same vision.
Right.
And I think what's happening with John now is that he's in a place where they have the same vision. So it's not like he came there and then coach just said, okay, John, do whatever the hell you want, we don't care.
Right.
It's just on the same page. So
right.
He can do what he wants.
And you certainly don't fault the guy for that.
No, there's nothing wrong. That is the best work situation to be in when if you're on the same page with your boss.
Right.
Because you both see things the same way. They trust you. They'll give you leeway, etc. So that is the ideal work situation to be in, no matter what profession you're in. So no,
yeah.
But so like I said, working for WWE is like working for Disney, or like you go see all the Marvel movies. They have a process.
Yeah.
And there have been directors that came in there, started on film, and got shown the door because they weren't doing it right.
Right.
With Lucasfilm, the Star Wars movie, they have a process,
mm-hmm.
and they fired a bunch of directors too because you got to come in there and you got to do it their way.
Yeah.
Or
That's an interesting analogy that you bring up like that, because you think about like the Marvel movies and the process, and you can equate this to wrestling. What's his name? The guy that played the Red Skull in Captain America, Hugo Weaving. Hugo Weaving had a miserable experience working for Marvel, and that's why he didn't come back for Infinity War and Endgame as Red Skull. He's like, I'm contracted, but if they don't force me to honor the contract, I'm not coming back. And it's again, you can equate that to a Moxley or a Shawn Spears or Hideo Itami, Kenta, or whoever's requesting and been granted their releases. It's the same kind of thing. And as you said, and we keep reiterating, if the company's not for you, leave.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Or, I mean, now some of these guys need to be more honest with themselves before they go there, because they've been around. I mean, Vince McMahon has been in charge of that company since the early '80s. It's no secret how they do things there.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be surprised in 2019, or you shouldn't have been surprised in 2012 either. Because if you're in the look, we as fans know about it. So if you're in the business, then you talk to people and you know how it works. You've heard how it works. So it's not, so you need to think about that going in before you go there, because actually the story from way back is Ted DiBiase. I don't know if you heard this story or not. It was in his book, but when he left the Bill Watts promotion, and he had to choose between WWF or going to Crockett.
Mm-hmm.
So he met with Vince, and Vince said, "I have this great idea, I have this great character for you, but I can't risk you hearing this and take it over to Crockett, so I need you to sign first before I tell you about it." And and actually I read Ted's book way back when, and he said, "Look, this was a real risk, because if I signed this paper and he gave me 1,000 character, I would look great."
Yeah.
But he ultimately said, "Well, look, I'm going to take a chance here."
Mm-hmm.
And so he signed, and then boom, $1 million man.
Yeah.
One of the greatest things ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
But going in, but that's how it works. That's how Vince is. He has an idea. With a lot of people, he has a way of doing things.
Right.
A way he connects people.
Right.
That's not a secret. Like, you shouldn't be surprised if you walk in there one day and he says that he wants you to, be this character or talk this way. It's not. It's common knowledge. So some of these guys and gals just need to be honest with themselves and say, "You know what? I have a certain way. I want to do this, and there's a possibility that I won't get to do that there.
Yeah.
And if I don't get to do it there, how am I going to feel? How am I going to feel if I don't get to do it there?" Because some people go in there and they don't get to do it the way they want to, but they don't have a problem with it.
Right. Yeah.
But some people do. And like with John, he has a specific way he wants to be.
Right.
I think, even though we don't know all the details about Sasha Banks, but I kind of get the impression that she wants to have certain kinds of matches and certain kind of way.
Right.
And so the same thing. So and if you don't get to do that, then you're not going to like it there.
Right. And that's what you're saying is every reason why you will never see Joey Ryan in WWE, because he's not going to bring the Joey Ryan shtick to the WWE. It'll never fly. And there's a lot of wrestlers on the indies like that. There were wrestlers on the indies like that when I was out there who knew they were never going to go to WWE because they knew they either didn't have anything to offer, or like you said, they're not going to get to do it the way they want to do it. And I think that's the mistake that a lot of wrestlers coming up from the indies make. They're like, I've been in wrestling for 10 years, 12 years, 15 years. I've been to Japan and Mexico and Puerto Rico and Canada and all over the country. I know this business like the back of my hand, forwards and back. And, I'm going to come to the WWE and I'm going to show them. Well, no, they're going to show you the way that they do business, and you can either do business the way that they do business or you can't. And that's, it's really that cut and dry. They may take, what you can do and either mold it into something they can use or not.